Right, poor Camilla. Poor Camilla. Aruns, our villain, Aruns, having prayed to Apollo, there's two requests: to put down Camilla, the aberration, the abomination, and to not receive glory for it and return home safely. Very un-Homeric. But again, the worse offense, the more painful offense to Apollo, presumably, and these male heroic warriors is Camilla's presence and effectiveness on the battlefield. We left off with the spear leaping from Aruns' hands with the divine assist from Apollo, Phoebus Apollo. Syncopated perfect there with conver terra animos acros aculos quetulera syncopated perfect cum ad regina wolski. You can do that two ways. Probably it's actually nominative. Now, altogether, the Wolskians, you don't have to worry about who they are. They're just allies of Turnus and Camilla. The Volscians, altogether, all of the Volscians, turned converterunt. It's really converterunt. Turned their fierce spirits and tolerant, another syncopated perfect, two syncopated perfects, and brought their eyes. It's a very poetic way of expressing that the sound, the noise, the arc of this spear is going to draw all of their attention, and they're going to watch as it passes through the air. They all turned their entire bodies, their minds, their souls, their eyes to the spear flying through the air. They turn those eyes, those fierce spirits, to the queen, namely Camilla. Nihil ipsa. Nihil is going to be an adverb here, meaning like not at all. Not at all does she herself, is she herself. Nec is going to be neither nor. Is she, and I'm going to infer an est. Not at all is she aware of the sound, nor of the breeze, nor of the weapon coming through the sky, from the sky, I should say. Now that's pretty tricky, because you have this ipsa memor, are really nominatives. The rest are genitives, but they're going with that nominative memor. So, it's really genitive, like an objective genitive. That's a fourth declension genitive. So she herself is not at all mindful, aware of either the breeze, of the sound, or of the weapon coming from the air. Again, if I have a noun and a participle going with it, right, the venientis is genitive, describing the telly. I wanted to, typically in Latin, noun and then adjective, noun and then participle, of the weapon coming from the air. Probably because of Apollo. If everyone else can hear it, everyone can turn their eyes to it, see it passing through the sky, and the only person who remains ignorant and unaware of this is Camilla herself. It's because the god has intervened. It's an impossible fate to escape. Hosta sup exertum donec per lata papillam haesit. Clause by clause, easiest way to go. Now, the subject is not going to be Camilla. It's this hasta, the spear. The hasta. Now you see that per lata? Cover up the per and you just have ferre tuli latum. Ferre tuli latum. We like to do the nominative stuff first. So nominative, and that's a participle agreeing with it. So I'm going to do the noun and the participle. Noun and the participle, and then a lot of it will make sense. The spear having been carried. That's the subject. That's the subject phrase. Donek means at last. Sub means under. Exertam, thrust. Papulam, breast. Until. The spear. You can do that until. It's an adverb anywhere. The hasta, the spear, having been carried under the thrust breast, gets stuck. The spear, at last, having been carried through, under the thrust breast, gets stuck, clings. So, and, no comma there. So the spear is also performing the bebit and is modified by the acta. And the spear, and, remember that and goes there. The end of this clause is here. Que is right there. Really. So, the spear, at last, having been carried through under the thrust breast, gets stuck, and, having been driven deep, drinks the virgin blood. That is gruesome and sad. And, having been driven deep, drinks the virgin blood. Also there as an adverb, it can really give us modification of either bebit or octa. It could be describing those two. So you went like, and the spear having been driven drinks deep the virgin blood. You can also go deeply. Drinks deep the virgin blood. Now, are you picking up the imagery here? Picking up the imagery? What did we talk about? Disruptive women in myth. What happens to them? What happens to them? You must know this. Women in myth, disruptive women in myth, they submit. They submit. They submit in one of two ways. They become brides of men through ritual, a wedding ceremony, officiated, of course, by men, or they become brides of death. As virgins, they become brides of death, these disruptive women. So either way, they're submitting, because whoever is responsible for bringing this death is a representative of the male order. Here, Apollo. Even as he's breaking the rules he is supposed to be upholding, he is going to give Camilla her wedding. The spear, phallic imagery. And as it penetrates her chest, it drinks deep, and we are reminded of virgin blood, as if it is her wedding night. Yeah. Tragic. It's one of my favorite all-time literary characters. I don't know why she doesn't get enough press, but she doesn't. Hardly anyone reads Camilla, and that's sad. And it's sad that she gets this death. Sniped. From far away, anonymously. It does not match with what the Iliad suggests might happen. Because if you remember, the Aeneid takes a lot of its structure from the Iliad and the Odyssey. And there is another Amazonian queen in the Iliad who participates in the Trojan War, and her name was, you remember, Penthesilea. An outstanding warrior queen who hardly any man can stand against. And in a satisfying dramatic moment, She gets to face down Achilles one-on-one. And it's implied that in the course of their interaction and combat, that in another time of place, they would have been lovers. So there are important erotic aspects in all of these conflicts. If you read the death scene, and you should have, of the young Pallas, there was phallic imagery there. When Turnus, the enemy of Aeneas, kills Pallas, Aeneas' young charge, but also lover. Here we have a perversion of the Homeric order. This spear, this phallic spear, shot anonymously, puts down Camilla and drinks deeply her virgin blood. What's to be taken in ceremony in a more less death-filled context? Marriage, wedding night. But here, Camilla does not get Penthesileia's end. She gets something different. It is an ironic moment. It is unlike the Iliad. We don't get an Aeneas versus Camilla. She doesn't get it. She doesn't get that ending. And of course, Trepidae comites. Her fearful comrades come together, run together, and they pick up their falling queen, their falling mistress. Of course they do. They're the squad. They're close. And between the last section where we skipped ahead, she had gotten back on her horse. So they're riding up close, and she's been impaled as the spear drinks deep. And as she's impaled, she's kind of falling off the horse. And her friends are going to come up and catch her. An end scene that's going to be extended and nice,